There we go. Morning, everyone. We just have about another minute to go before we get started. I don't know how everybody's doing with all this snow that we're getting again. Jeepers, I think here where I live, we must have at least 15 centimeters of snow, and it's still snowing. Thankfully, my snowplow guys still came around today, so which is good. Unfortunately, my husband is not feeling well, so I gave him some oil of oregano, and he didn't enjoy it, so he says he's healed. He's not sick anymore because he's not going to live through that again. It was kind of funny. He just raised his arms and said, "I'm healed." But anyways, he's a funny guy. So, okay, 11 a.m. and let's get started. Okay, so today's project is a Easter chocolate egg carton. And this past week I was out and looking for chocolate eggs and stuff. And oh my goodness, the price is really up there. So I usually do up little boxes for my neighbors, and we're going to pare that down, but we're going to put them in a fancy box so they still look pretty fabulous, okay? So we'll put that off to the side. And here's our gift box. So the nice thing about this is there's only 4 parts to this. Okay, so the outside, we have our belly band. Then we have our box. And we're just going to slide this belly band off here. And here's your box. Now, the nice thing about this, here's your little stand. And I'll show you a couple of different tricks with this part here. It just kind of gives it a little bit of lift. But the nice thing about every part of this is that while you're making up a bunch of these, they can all store flat. So if you're doing up a bunch for your neighbors or your grandkids and whatnot, you don't have to worry about having a certain spot on the dining room table to make room for everything. These store flat. And it just comes up. This guy is going to go inside here, and then the belly band goes on, and we'll explore a couple of different ways to do the belly band and a couple of different ways to do the insert here, because I came up with some different ideas for you. Now, I first saw this online by a lady that's in the UK, and it's created by Ottaway, I think is how you pronounce it. But then I was in on Pinterest and saw some other different results kind of using the same thing. So it is origami. So the outer shell, okay, we'll just push this out here and we'll put that off to the side. The outer shell of the box, which is this here, is a 6 by 8 3/4, okay? And on the long side, you're going to score it at 2, 4, 6, and 8, because this little strip here is going to be the flap of your box, okay? Like so. Now, also, you're going to possibly want to round your corners there. And that's a good way to know. Yep, this is the edge. And then you can just round your corners of your box there, quite like I did here, and have done again here. So this is just going to go like so. Okay. Now, the other thing is, you'll notice that I had a Post-it note here that said, "Can cut window." And I wanted to play around with that a little bit. So what I did was, I already pre-cut my belly band and measured it out and whatnot. And what I did is I figured out what part of the belly band was going to be around the box and this portion. Okay. And then I just lined everything up, because the belly band is going to, here's your box. like so. The belly band is going to wrap around and come around here. But we don't do it a hard fold on the belly band because we want to wait and see how it fits around the box. And here's a little window. Okay, so with the window, you would take your acetate, cut a piece of acetate, and put it on the inside of the box. I thought about putting a piece of acetate here on this part of the belly band, but then I thought when you're putting the box inside the belly band, it's going to catch on it, and I didn't want to do that. So for me, I am just going to put the acetate on the inside, like so, with my belly band around it, and it still allows you to look inside and see the goodies inside, okay? So that's that part. So again, the outer shell of the box is 6 by 8 3/4, and along the long side here, you're going to score at 2, 4, 6, and 8, and then this 3/4 here becomes the flap of your box. Okay, now for the inside of your box, this was the fun part. This took a little bit of figuring it out and getting it right. I must be honest. So let's review. The box center is 5 7/8 by 9 7/8, and then you're going to score along the long side at 2 7 7/8. Okay, then you're going to turn it to the short side, and you're going to score at 2 3/15. Okay, now with this, you're going to score. And let me just get my tools here. And I marked it just with pencil so that I'd be able to not mess it up for you. Okay, so let's get the scoreboard off to the side. If you don't have a score pal, they are really worth the investment. So you're just going to take it from the inside here to your corner. And I marked which way I wanted to score this because I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to mess it up. And you're just going to do these 4 corners. And actually, this little gift box goes together really well. And the time that I find that you're going to spend a lot of was trying to decide how you're going to decorate it. So then you're going to score along there, give it a really good crease. Give it a really good crease. Okay, and along here. I thought this was such a clever little box because actually this would be a nice little box for several different gifts. Even, you know, if you're giving a necklace, you could put a couple little holes in the stand part of it. Okay, so here we go. So where is my guy over here? Here we go. So here's my box. And there we go. Now, you're going to, as I put here with this one, I logged where I'm going to glue. And, whoops, hold on a second. so glad everything is close by. So you're just going to glue and glue here. I find that sometimes when I'm busy and trying to work things, sometimes it's easier just to write in pencil to remind myself, oh yeah, it goes this way. So glue there. Press it in good. Now normally I have vintage irons that I use as weights. To help really lock things down. But you can see how easy it is, and it's so wonderful because it just lies flat, which is fabulous. Okay, so we're just going to do this here again. This. Okay, and this will now get glued into place. Now I'm just doing this quickly for you. But like I said, the advantage to this is that it lies flat for storage. Whoops. And I decided to just go with plain. I mean, you can use patterns like I did with this one here. You can use patterns, but just remember the direction of your pattern on your paper, okay? And we might as well glue this one here too. Just a little wonky. There we go. So there you have your insert. This is now going to fold up, and there's the inside of your box, which is fabulous. It goes very, very quickly. So we'll put that off to the side. So this was step 2. So to review, you're going to cut 5 7/8 by 9 7/8, and then you're going to score along the long side at 2 inches and 7 7/8. Pardon me. Then along the short side, you're going to score at 2 inches and 3 15/16. And then you're going to score your corners so that it folds like so. So you're just going to score your corners, and there's the score lines there. And then you glue into place. Okay, so step 3 is the tray for eggs. Now, the tray for the eggs, and I'm going to get my scissors. Here we go. You are going to cut a piece of 2 7/8 by 6 3/4. And then you're just going to score 1/2 inch on all the sides, okay? And then you're going to cut the corners like I'm just going to show you here. So here's 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. There we go. Then the easiest way is just to come along, and you're just going to cut up to that fold line. There we go. To the fold lines. And you can see how these just fold in on each other. And they're going to fit. Oops, not enough glue in that one. Let's try it again. Natalie, I haven't opened up my big bottle of glue that you recommended. So we'll just do this and get that into place there. Or, yeah, that should work now. There we go. And then these will just fold in on each other. The edges here. And we just fit that little tray right into the box. And there we have it. Now, when it comes to this tray here, I have a couple of different ideas for you, okay? So, while I was out, of course, I picked up some eggs. And let's just open up this one here. I chose a 1-inch hole, and I did templates, okay? Because I find that the templates are going to make it so much easier. But you see, I just place these inside, and they're going to hold the egg because this has got 1/2 inch, so roughly 1/2 inch. This egg is a little bit smaller. I did have some larger ones. It's going to fit in there quite nicely and hold it in place. Or if you even have, this is a 1-inch hole. If you have a 3/4 inch punch, that would work well. It depends. You're going to have to play around with the size of your eggs, okay? Now, the other option, okay, that I came up with that I discovered was cookies. Now, some kids aren't, well, you don't want to load them up with a lot of sugar and whatnot. I came across these. I thought they were so cute. So what I did is I worked up a template that the cookies are going to stand up inside. So for a little one, at least they get something, and there is a less sugar treat inside. I mean, you could put some little bits inside there. You can put some of the moss inside there with your chocolate, your mini chocolate eggs, which would be kind of fun. The other thing that I came across was these little guys. He could sit right there, okay? You could cut a little hole, or you could just put a little piece of double-sided tape, hold him in place, and then pour some mini eggs in and around there. So all kinds of possibilities. But when I saw these little cookies for, you know, the little ones, I thought that was just perfect. It's just a little taste of shortbreads. They still get the treat, but less sugar. So what I would suggest is that you do make templates of your treats that you're going to use, because even my neighbors are going to be so happy to see me. I try to do treats, but you can see here, I used a 1-inch here, and I found the center of the tray part there, both in the middle and lengthwise, okay? And then I took the circle punch, started in the center, and then measured out for the other ones. But you can see it's just going to hold. This egg here is just a little bit larger, so it's just going to hold it really nicely in place. But at least you have a template to make it easier for you, okay? So let's put that off to the side there. And so that's the tray for your eggs. Okay, so let's put that one there. That goodie over there. Boy, I might just have some chocolate myself today. Okay, so the last part, part 4, is doing your belly band. Okay, now previously, like I said, you can cut a window, and what I used to cut my window was this set here. It is the Creative Expressions, Crafts by Sue there, and let's just see here. It is a set of 4 dies, CED 1251. Okay, and I measured out, kind of held up the dies there, and it was the smallest die that I used to make my window. Okay, where are you? So this was the die that I used to make my window so that you can look inside and see the treats. Okay, so excellent set because it worked really well. If you decide to make a bigger box, then, like I said, it's a set of 4 dies that come in handy there. Okay, put that off to the side there. So the belly band. Belly band is really quite simple, and I'm sure many of you have made them. So the belly band is 4 inches by 8 3/4. But when I did allow for the window, because of the size of my die, I took my belly band here up to 5.5 inches. Okay, so again, it depends on how you're going to decorate. If you're going to put a window in there, if you have smaller windows, totally up to you. So for the belly band, again, 4 inches by 8 3/4. But again, this 4 inches can be variable. You can decide that, you want to put a circle in there you could do a circle in the top with the bunny showing through. Totally up to you. Okay. But you are going to score it at 2, 4, 6, and 8. Now, when it comes to the belly band, because it's fitting around the box, we're not going to hard press the scoring. And I will tell you that when you have a plan and you're kind of searching for your score lines, it gets a little tricky. But what you're going to do is you're just going to hold this here like so. And actually, just for the time being, just so that I can get it into position, which will make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to use an elastic. So here's the box. Now, the other little trick too is if the sides of your box are poking out as such, all you can do is you can just go in, give it a little crease and a little pinch on either side, and then they stay in. And that solves that little problem. Okay, there we go. See, it stays inside. So we're going to just put that around there to help hold it into place. And this is the short side here. So I want that to come around, and I'm going to move the elastic just off to the one side here, just so that I can get this fitted. And you don't want it super snug. Remember, you got to be able to slip this off and move it into place. So then I'm just going to glue this. But like I said, we don't want hard press on the lines, and we don't want it super snug because we want to be able to slip it on and off with ease. And then if you are using a patterned paper, just make sure you line it up, but it is on the bottom. Okay, and then this can just slip right off, and there we go. Your belly band, your belly band, there we go, is on your box. Now, when it comes to decorating, like I've done here, okay, I use the Lavinia stamp, and this is LAV 176 Cherry Blossom. And what I did is I had my background, I stamped it, painted it a little bit, then I stamped another one and fussy cut it because I wanted to give it some dimension. And then I added my sentiment and just a few little butterflies. I actually layered the butterflies and I put some Wink of Stella on them. Now, when it comes to other options, like I said, you can do the window, but there are so many other options that you can do. Tim Holtz, you could put a bunny on there. Take one of his bunnies, okay? Don't forget that you can fill your box with moss. I even have some pink raffia that I can put in my box and put some Easter eggs in there as such. Decorating the top, depending on how you want to do that. I have Tim Holtz mini eggs, because what you can do is you can really have some fun with this. I'm sure if you go through your collection of stamps and such, you'll find some goodies. I would trim this up to fit within here, the belly band. I just did some tuck, and I did an overlay. Okay. And in there, okay, I did a better press of a bunny, okay, which I'll show you the set because it's actually quite fabulous. He can just sit in there, okay, and the color that I used here was the frayed burlap, because he really worked well with the color of my box. Now, I also did a pink stamping as well. I had a different bunny. So it depends on if you're decorating this way or if you want to decorate this way. Now, the set, the Better Press set is fabulous. You can see here. And the set actually comes with the die cuts. Now, the nice thing about this is that I will probably go in and paint these up, ink them up, smudge them up a little bit with the different colors. There's tulips that you can have sticking out of the grass if you like. There's little Easter eggs that you can tuck into the grass as well. Now, for those of you that may not have a Better Press, let me tell you, the Better Press was one of the best purchases or tool purchase that I made. It just, it gives such a professional finish, and it's just so quick and easy. Sorry, I'm trying to put, oh, there we go. My cap's on now. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Better Press, let's just do a quick little demo for you. And then you'll see just how quick and easy it really is. By the way, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, Jose and Isabel did a, what's that? What's that for? And she talked about this iCrafter, the iMend plates. Now, I had long ago considered the Magic Mat, but I didn't see totally great reviews about it, so I put it off and I didn't do anything. When I saw Jose's demo of this, I scooped them up. And I got to tell you, the first time I put my die through, I did a little happy dance. Let me tell you, I picked up the magnetic one, but I think those are sold out. But even the regular plate, iMend, it is wonderful. And you only are using one of these hard acrylic cutting plates, and you're not even cutting on it. So this is going to last so much longer. But I have used this several times already, and you can see, like, it doesn't look like it's been used at all, you know? And I did get the platform as well. Another best purchase that I've made in a long time. Okay, so now over to the Better Press. Now, when you purchase the Better Press, you get a stand as such, and the edges are held in with magnets, okay, and it comes with 2 shims. You can take that cardboard out, and my card here, or paper that I'm going to be using, is the A2 side. Now, this base is magnetic, and there is a tool that will help you lift off your presses, but you can also just lift that right out too if you want. Okay, so just going to do a quick little demo for you, because this just goes so darn fast. And I'm going to take, and I think I'm probably going to try a different color this time so that I can really mix it up. Let's try vintage photo. Oh, tree bark. That might be a good one. Or even ground espresso. Let's try tree bark for my bunnies this time. Okay, so like I said, this was one of my better purchases, and I'm just going to lay these all down. And this is such a lovely set because it does come. I'm going to put the sentiments all along here. Even if you don't use them, they'll come in handy for something else, even if you put them on like little gift tags. There we go. And here's our tulip. A pair of tulips. The Easter basket. I don't know what some people do for traditions. My husband is Polish, so before having our Easter meal, we take a basket to the Polish church, and it has a little bit of everything that we're going to have in our meal in the basket, so that the priest can bless our food. And it's always a fun tradition, and it's been funny a couple of times because the one time we were there, there was a little lad, and the priest was, you know, doing his holy water sort of thing. And there was this one little guy who was standing a little too close to the front line, and all of a sudden you heard, "Hey, you got me." And the whole place just broke up, and it was really kind of fun. So it is a fun Easter tradition that we like to do, is go and it's interesting because there's usually a competition. Not that there's any prizes awarded or anything, but just, you know, the ladies, we all check each other's baskets out, how they're decorated and what they've got inside, you know, the traditional babka. Oops, we're getting some ink in there, but that's okay, not to worry, because you can clean that up afterwards. Okay, so you ink it up, you bring this down, you put on your shims, put on your top, take it to your Sizzix or your machine, die cutting machine, and I'm just going to, put this through. Okay, and I'm going to move that back. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to lift this off. Take off your shims. Ta-da! And you've got such a professional look. And like I said, the nice thing about this is that this set comes with all the dies. So this is the Spellbinders Better Press. This is actually a Simon Hurley collection. This is BP-156. There's still some left in the store. If you don't have it and you have the Better Press, or you're thinking about the Better Press, now's a wonderful season to pick it up, because I find I use it a lot through Christmas as well. But they do have other plates, and they're just so useful. They go through so many events in life that it's just fabulous. So now what I can do is I can take my pencil crayons, I can take my watercolors and just very softly color all of these and die cut them, and then use them on the front of my egg carton box. So other things that you get, because with this here, okay, I did show you the Tim Holtz little eggs. Now, you can put these in a little plastic glass with a little bit of ink, colored ink, and just swirl it around, and you can dye these eggs. In the past, I've even used some of these that I picked up. And then what I use is... what I use, here we go, is I cut them in half, okay? That way I get a little bit more for my dollar. But then I take the 3D glue dots and fit it inside there, and then put that on whatever I've created, whether it be a card, a tag, most likely a tag, because it is so dimensional. So with this in mind, this little bunny here, if I was to die cut it, okay, but I think then I would go in and trim off that tail. I've got the little cotton balls, tiny little cotton balls that I could just take, oops, and put that on there. Even this guy, see? And it adds a little bit more dimension, a little more fun to the project. Okay, so then let's kind of do a recap of all that we've done here today. So this is your gift box. Here's an open one. Here's the platform, but like I said, change it up. You can make different templates with the holes, whether it be for your eggs or your cookies, which are kind of fun. So you can just lay that on there and make sure you've got your placement like so, where you want it. Placement there. You can just put the one chocolate bunny like this. You could just have them standing in the center, and then once inside here like this, just fill it up with some eggs. Okay, now he should close. Yep, not a problem. Oh, or he might lie down. There you go, and just fill it up with eggs. So, and you've got the belly band there. So in closing, which is really kind of fun, I used the Lavinia just for something a little bit different. I take into consideration each one of my neighbors, what might be good, what might not be good. A couple of my neighbors have dogs, so I might even do up a doggy treat little box for them. But just something as simple as this, and put on top. But the wonderful thing about this is that even if you, like me, I'm going to have to create 5 of these boxes, and then of course, you know, you're looking for a bin to put them in. The wonderful thing about this is that it all stores flat until you're ready to present it. So I think we've covered just about everything. We did the Better Press. I love those bunnies. I love that collection. The nice thing about the bunny collection is it doesn't have to be just for Easter. You know, spring events are coming up. I have a niece that's going to be having a baby boy next month. So I think I'm going to be using some of those bunnies for part of the tag for her gift. We were out shopping yesterday for baby clothes. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And she's having a boy, so those of us that have boys know how hard that is. I went through that myself. But we managed to come up with quite a bundle for her. So when it came to the better press pressing of the bunnies, I used, the last one I used the tree bark. I did a pink bunny, because I'm sure people have granddaughters. Okay. Where's my pink bunny set? Oh, around here somewhere. So I used the funky fuchsia. And then this one here, kind of a greeny tone, which I kind of liked with the my green paper that I use, frayed burlap. But again, I had a grass dye that I'm going to overlay. And then I'm going to put my bunny in here. Okay. And I might just trim a little bit more of that white off. Toss in a couple little of the eggs that come in the set. And I might even try looking for a carrot to be able to, maybe a couple little carrots just popping out of there. There's so many things that you can do when it comes to Easter and just have lots of fun. But just with this, it goes very quickly. You've only got 4 pieces. And when it comes to decorating, the sky's the limit. So thank you to all of those that joined me today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I'm going to go and clean this all up and check in on my husband, see how he's feeling now that he had his oil of oregano that he says he's healed. So we'll see. Anyways, thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.